Competitor of the evening. Shannon McGoey is a counseling student in our program, our master's program in counseling. She will be presenting her research on the effects of individuals with schizophrenia on non-affected relatives within the family unit. Shannon?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your attention tonight. My name is Shannon, and as your last presenter, I want to take the next 3 minutes to start a conversation with you about schizophrenia. What do you know about schizophrenia? Most people know it's a mental illness. Often we think of some of the hallmark symptoms, hallucinations, delusions, and disorganized speech. In other words, people with schizophrenia often see, hear, feel, or even taste and smell things that well-adjusted people do not. They might say things that don't make sense or have persecutory or grandiose delusions. And as a result, we can understand that living with schizophrenia can be a scary and confusing thing. What we often don't talk about, though, is what it's like to live with someone with schizophrenia. Seen here is the Galvin family, a family of 14 in which 6 of their 12 children were diagnosed with schizophrenia. That's a lot. But what about the other 6? How does having one or more sibling with a psychotic disorder affect their lives? Based on a comprehensive literature review, stigma is one of the most adverse effects of being a sibling of an individual with schizophrenia. It can be both direct and indirect, meaning affecting the individual with schizophrenia or the family members. The 2 youngest siblings here, Margaret and Mary, describe their longing to isolate themselves from the family, not wanting to be associated with their brother's struggles over fear of being looked at as different or weird. Loneliness and social isolation are also experienced, especially when the care of the affected family member takes away from the neurotypical child's experiences growing up. Think soccer practice never happening for you because your brother had an episode of psychosis, or worse, never being able to play sports or engage in extracurriculars at all because your parents are constantly at home caring for your sibling. Stigma and the perception of how schizophrenia affects in one's life have the strongest effects on sibling outcomes. So how do we remedy these effects? Studies show that faith, acceptance, and involvement in the care plan for the family member with schizophrenia yield improved outcomes for non-affected family members. In extreme form, known as parentification, studies show increased involvement and responsibility for caring for family members can increase risk of depression later in life. But on a smaller scale, self-perceived responsibility and purpose in helping a mentally ill sibling might contribute to development of self-esteem, which protects against depression. And of course, destigmatization is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Destigmatization of schizophrenia and other mental health disorders improves outcomes for everyone, both those diagnosed and not. Thank you.